Dr. Parker, you've stressed the importance of building a community of girls in a congregational setting, but with quite diverse social, economic, racial, ethnic participants in the room together. And building a community in that form is a beautiful vision and a beautiful aspiration, but youth ministers are going to want to have some help from you on what are the practices, what have you learned helps create community out of the folks who find themselves together in that room?
Thank you. From my own experience of working with teenagers in projects that are at my institution, as well as my own volunteer work with incarcerated girls, I've learned a few things about how you build community. That doesn't mean I've learned everything, but I'm on the way. But some of the best practices that I have gone back to time and time again would include such things as that you've got to be really intentional about building community. You've got to invite young people to covenant with you about what their life will be like together. Life together, and what I mean by this specifically, life together needs to be down on the floor with paper and markers saying, if I'm gonna be in this youth group, I want people to respect me. If I'm gonna be in this youth group, I don't want people to be laughing at something that I might say. I mean, it can be just like that. And a practice that I've used with the Perkins Youth School of Theology and with my colleagues is we will actually have young people to tell us what they would like to see happen within our group during our summer academy. How do you want to live together for the next three weeks? And while you're living together, what will you commit to holding each other accountable for? Now, we're still on the way about the accountability part, because people will say that we all respect each other, but yet they won't hold people. They won't say to a peer, you know, you're not really respecting her, or that's disrespectful. But nonetheless, if you invite young people through participatory decision making to covenant together on how their life will be, and then have them in the context of worship make a commitment to that covenant, it solidifies it in ways that you can build on. When they don't hold each other accountable, you can always come back to it and say, we said that we would live this way together, and you signed in the presence of your peers, in the context of worship, and in the presence of God, that you would hold each other accountable for this. How are we going to live into what we have said? So covenanting together about how we will live together. I also think in terms of bringing together girls that are across the spectrum in one place to do ministry, to focus on their sameness, you've got to deal with the stereotypes that they have about each other up front. You can't wait. In order to do that, by doing that, actually, you are creating a sacred space that allows people to say what they feel and what they're experiencing, and even dispel the myths that they have come to that place with. Myths that would just be crippling for moving along into some rich and deep reflection and dialogue and engagement. Because there are these things that are lingering around. They're just like the elephant in the room. People want to talk about it, they can't talk about it, and they're thinking, while they're looking at you, they're thinking, she thinks she's all that, but she ain't, you know. Or just because she's bright-skinned, I don't know who she thinks she is, or whatever is going on about these myths in their head. I mean, there's a number of notions that people, or young people as well as old adults, make assumptions about us, and because of stereotypes, what we see in media, what we read, what we see in the news. So you've got to deal with those things up front. I also am beginning to realize that that you need to be prepared to have resources at your disposal if you need them in cases of an emergencies. For example, given the statistics in our context, of 1 in 4 women and girls have been sexually abused. If you've got 8 girls, if you've got 12 girls, that's somebody in that room more than likely that has experienced this. So you don't have to be the expert in counseling, but you need to know a good counselor that is at your fingertips that you can call. You need to be able to, on speed dial, on your cell phone, that you can call a spiritual counselor, someone, the police, or someone who can help you with child protective services, because it is your responsibility to report that somebody is in danger. So you need to have access to people who you can call right away that can provide the resources so that you can care for the young people in your midst. There's other things, but I think as time goes along, if you show these young people that you can be trusted because you sincerely care for them, then you are forming the type of community that they will hang in there with you. And they will be your best advocate when you need money and somebody's about to shut down your program. Or if you want to just venture out and do some things a little bit different, they will be your best advocates because you will be giving them some life-sustaining, life-giving skills that they might not get otherwise. So I could go on with some other things, but I think thinking about who you are doing ministry with and what do they need to have a very trusting, wholesome, sacred community where they can be themselves, where they can give glory to God and they can affirm each other at the same time.